Hello fellow Mellows, on this part of the best Pokemon generation battle, I am discussing which generation has the least destructive flaw. The current scores are on the screen now. Before I get started, I want to just reiterate that if I have 25 subs by the end of July, I'll release a video of me rapping, which should, at the very least, be worth a few laughs. Now, on the screen are the flaws I'm counting for each generation. Anyway, the worst game-breaking flaw is, in my opinion, the experience reduction on Gen 5. If you don't know what I mean, say you're training a level 5 Topig, which is the fire starter. You beat a level 2 Patrat. You get 18 experience or some crap like that. Well, you level up. Now you battle level 2 Patrat again, and now you can get 15 experience, which wouldn't be an issue, but you need more XP to level up anyway. So the game is giving you two increasing numbers, well, one that's increasing, one that's decreasing, making it so annoying to train, which on an RPG I think really hurts the game, being as grinding is kind of necessary anyway. This is the main reason I didn't play Gen 5 until Gen 6 came out, so Gen 5 gets minus 6 points. Ouch. So for the next worst flaw, it's, in my opinion, the OP Psychics in Gen 1. Yeah, I'd be mad too. I'm sure somebody watching this is clicking away right now for my blasphemy, so bear with me, viewers. Let's view the facts. In Gen 1, there was 15 types. Psychic was weak against one type, and that's it. Now, that was bug type. Now, what bug moves were there, you're probably thinking? There was Leech Life, Pin Missile, oh, and Twin Needle. Care to think who has those moves? Poison types, which, get this, weak against Psychics. Think about battling an Alakazam on Pokemon Red. What do you use to beat it? Comment below if you think you have a Gen 1 Pokemon that can beat Alakazam in a Gen 1 game. Completely fair fight. It's IV trained. Well, I guess it can't be, but it's the perfect Alakazam for Gen 1. Beat it. So that's minus 5 for Gen 1. Then we have Gen 6 in the next spot with the Experience All. Now, this wasn't so much a flaw for me, but I know a lot of people complained about it when the game came out, and I do kind of see the point. Suddenly the game has insanely high-leveled opponents for really no reason. Personally, though, I like this one because, you know, I used a Shedinja. I used Gibble. You know, I used Aerodactyl. I used Pokemon that I had never used before because it made it more open to use them. But it does kind of take away from the experience when you can level up Pokemon without ever using them at all. I mean, like, when I played through it the first time, I had the Blaziken, and it basically sat in the party, was higher levels than everybody else because it always got experience. And because it was traded or FN or wherever it got the XP boost anyway. So basically, it never went out there unless I was afraid I was going to lose a fight. So that's minus 4 points for Gen 6. Number 3 in this topsy-turvy week is Gen 3 with their water routes. The only reason I still keep Gen 3 up this high is because the water routes are annoying, but you can pretty much use a repel and swim straight through most of the water pretty quickly. But the routes are annoying as hell if you don't have a repel, because there is so much water. So many tentacles. Also, so many HMs, but it's not really game-breaking, so minus 3 points for Gen 3. Now here's where this week got insanely hard, and I think it pretty much shows how the series will progress towards the end. And by the series, I mean the best Pokemon generation battle. I had to pick between Gen 2 and Gen 4. And they're both, I don't want to say flawless. They have flaws, but they're not big flaws. I mean, So anyway, number 2 is Generation 4 and its lack of new Pokemon. This is an issue I doubt anybody will deny. To put into perspective how much of an issue it really was, in Diamond and Pearl there was basically 2 choices for a Fire-type Pokemon through the game. And it was Chimchar and Ponyta. So, yeah, if you didn't pick the Fire starter, you were kind of screwed in that regard. Then you have Flint in the Elite Four, who basically has no Fire-type Pokemon, even though that's his type. Not to mention, I remember hearing this fact, and I can't remember where I got it from, or if this is even right. But as memory recalls, there's only like 2 or 3 completely new evolutionary families if you ignore starters. It's like Shinx and Starly, and I can't think of anybody else. But that's not really a problem. The even number generations are adding new Pokemon in. Gen 2 did it, Gen 2 did it, Gen 4 did it, Gen 6 did it. So, anyway, minus 2 points for Gen 4, just because. Anyway, number 1 is obviously Gen 2. To put into perspective how easy this decision was, I couldn't even come up with a flaw for the games at first. I googled it, and after searching for like 20 minutes, I found the only complaint that even resembles sense, and that's a difficulty curve, which, I mean, is true. Whitney randomly gets a crap ton stronger than anyone else, and Jasmine randomly has an insanely strong Steelix. I also felt like Red was randomly overleveled, but to be fair, none of these hurt the game at all. Whitney is a nice challenge early on in the game. Jasmine isn't that hard to beat, being as by then you need a Surfer, and regardless, you should be fine by then. And really, in Gen 2, Red isn't that tough to beat, being as he didn't have the Hail to help him like in Gen 4. So, minus 1 for Gen 2, just for existing. Anyway, the new standings should be on the screen now. Now, there's only 4 weeks left. The remaining topics are Legendaries, Bad Guy Leader, the remaining Pokemon, and the Elite Four plus Champion. There isn't another negative week, and you can only theoretically go up 5 points in 1 week. Meaning if you're at the bottom, you get 1 point. The game at the top gets 6 points. If they always stay the same, you could only pull up by 5 points. You can only theoretically climb up 20 points from the bottom. So Gen 5 can't win. It's 21 points out. So, doesn't mean it can't be number 2 though. Also, Generation 6 is 1 point away from elimination as well. And next week's topic is the Legendaries. So, peace out, home skillets.